So today, Donald Trump posted a racist image of the Obamas, and the internet immediately went where it always goes. He needs to apologize. But here's my question: why? If the Obamas didn't ask for an apology, why is the internet demanding one on their behalf from a man whose racism has never been accidental? Because at this point, an apology from Donald Trump wouldn't be accountability, it would be theater. Now, let me say this real slow and real clear because the peoples keep acting confused when this country's history is not confusing at all. America was not founded on equality, it was founded on genocide, forced labor, and land theft. The people we call the founding fathers built this country by killing Native Americans, breaking treaties, stealing their land, and then rewriting the story like it was destiny instead of violence. And at the same time, Africans were kidnapped, chained, brutalized, sold, brutalized again, and worked to death while the country wrote all men are equal and legally classified black people as property. We all know the story: three-fifths of a human being. And when slavery ended, racism didn't. It just changed clothes. And then good old Jim Crow was implemented. And that wasn't an accident. I'm from Louisiana. It was law. It was policy. It was terrorism with paperwork. Black folks in the South were lynched, beaten, silenced, locked out of schools, jobs, healthcare, the voting booths, and basic humanity. So when people clutch their pearls every time Donald Trump, aka Diaper Don, posts something racist about Barack and Michelle Obama, don't ask me to be shocked. This isn't new. This is good old boy, good old American tradition. Okay? Hot dogs, hamburgers, 4th of July, fireworks. What confuses me is not Trump, it's the grown adults who consistently lie for him. I'm talking about 50, 60-year-old grown men and women on mainstream media twisting themselves in a pretzel, covering up, justifying, lying for this man.
President Trump shared and then deleted a racist video depicting Barack and Michelle Obama as apes. The post was made on Trump's Truth Social account. The White House tells NBC News it was posted erroneously by a staffer. White House spokesperson Carolyn Levitt defended the post at first, saying it was from an internet meme and calling the response fake outrage. But some of that outrage came from Republicans. Senator Tim Scott posted praying it was fake because it's the most racist thing I've seen out of the White House.
The ones who insist on, oh, it wasn't racist when it clearly was. The ones who pretend intention matters more than history, context, and pattern. Oh, furthermore, good old, I call him the little leprechaun, Mike Johnson. Oh, Mr. Johnson, did you see what happened? Did you see what Donald Trump said today? Oh, I was busy. I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything. See no evil, hear no evil. Trump doesn't need to apologize. Apologies don't fix systems. The truth is simpler. Trump is racist. racist, a bigot. His administration reflects that. His policies reflect that. His supporters excuse it. And mainly because majority of them feel the same way. Everybody keeps asking, how did America get it wrong? America didn't get it wrong. In my opinion, this is God allowing America to get exactly what she deserves. And America deserves Donald Trump. And America keeps rewarding Donald Trump and his behavior. Racism is not a bug in this country. It is embedded in the fabric. It is the foundation of America. So let's talk about Donald Trump. Not the character, not the reality TV, but the pattern. Donald Trump didn't come from struggle. All y'all MAGA people that's out in the rural area, he cannot sympathize, empathize, relate. Y'all not like him. He cannot relate to y'all. Except for, dun 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 dun, hatred. Y'all hate everybody that do not look like you so much that you were willing to sacrifice your own better judgment and interests of you, yourselves, your family, your children because of hate, because of being bigoted and hateful. Donald Trump came from money, specifically his father, Fred Trump, a New York real estate mogul who built his fortune on segregation, government subsidies, which is getting money from the government, discrimination, all while refusing to rent to black people. Donald Trump didn't build an empire. He inherited one. Hell, he mismanaged it, bankrupted casinos, which I got to say is very impressive, might I add, because casinos are designed to take money. And then he branded his failure as success. He learned that if you lie confidently enough, loudly enough, and often enough, people will repeat it for you, and therefore eventually they'll start to believe the lies that they have repeated over and over again. When reality didn't work in Donald Trump's favor, he sued. He been suing everybody. ABC, CBS, NBC, allegedly. When facts didn't flatter him, he denied them. When the country elected its first black president, that's what everybody don't realize. That's what started all of this. That's why Obama is why Donald Trump ran for office. Because in Donald Trump's mind, he figured he know who he is deep down inside. He narcissistic as hell. But he know who he is, and he know in actuality he dumber than a box of rocks, and he is not him. Okay? So when the country elected our first black president, which was Barack Obama, Trump decided to start peddling the lie that Barack wasn't even American. He requested his birth certificate and started peddling that lie that Barack Hussein Obama, because fear has always been his currency. And in his mind, he figured if they could put this nigga in office, excuse my language, then why can't a reality star who been cosplaying all this time, why can't I be the president? Trump didn't become president because he was qualified. There is not a presidential bone in that man's body. He became president because right-wing media normalized his lies, billionaires funded his chaos, and millions of Americans preferred a con artist who shared their hate, who validated their resentment over the truth. This wasn't an accident. This was not a fluke. Let's go ahead and get this part out your head. Donald Trump is not an anomaly in American history. He is the most honest reflection of America. Before Donald Trump ever ran for president, before the rallies and millions and the chaos, there was his family, and that story matters. See, Donald Trump's mama, Mary Ann McLeod Trump, she immigrated to the good old U.S. of A. from Scotland in the 1930s. She came here poor. She worked as a domestic servant and benefited from an immigration system that welcomed white Europeans while shutting the door on everyone else. You know how Trump always saying he don't want nobody from the shithole countries. He want them from Norway, and he want Greenland, places like that. The Netherlands, countries that actually have, and it's not all of them, Canada, countries that have universal health care that take care of their people. His father, Fred Trump, was born in the United States to German immigrants. His whole family full of immigrants, but he hate the immigrants. And what I was saying, I lost my train of thought. His father, Fred Trump, was born in the United States to German immigrant parents and built his wealth in New York real estate. This wasn't through genius. His daddy wasn't smart, but this was through government-backed housing, tax breaks, and racial exclusion, kind of like what they doing for Elon Musk. Fred Trump was repeatedly accused by our federal government of refusing to rent to black families. That wasn't a rumor. This was an opinion. This was policy. Look it up. Donald Trump grew up wealthy, insulated, and entitled. He did not grow up learning accountability. He learned dominance. He learned that money protects you and power excuses you. Hence, that note that his daddy got from the doctor to keep him out of the military draft because of bone spurs or so-called bone spurs. All of this is allegedly, okay? As a child, Donald Trump was so aggressive, y'all, and undisciplined that his parents sent him to military school. And not to humble him, but to control him. And instead of learning empathy, he learned hierarchy. That's why he is so, what's the word I want to say, infantilized with winners and losers. That's why he cannot concede that he lost the 2020 election. He cannot fathom, no matter how many times, how many court cases, how many people tell him this, how much when he is alone by himself, he knows he lost. He cannot concede because he only understands winners and losers, and he cannot believe that he is a loser. He cannot believe that he lost to Joe Biden, and neither can his supporters. I have yet to watch a news commentator invite someone. I'll just use Abby Phillips' night show for example. Every time you mention, it's like being in a bad relationship. You know, you're in a relationship with somebody, and every time you bring up to them their wrongdoings, and then they go to point out what you did. Every time they call out Trump's hypocrisy in his behavior. What about Biden? Biden did such and such and such every single time. Now back to Trump. And instead, like I said, instead of him learning empathy, he learned hierarchy, winners and losers, obedience and punishment. That worldview of his has never changed. So when people say this isn't who Trump really is, I always laugh and chuckle. This is exactly who this man was raised to be. This matters because entitlement doesn't appear out of nowhere. It's inherited, reinforced, and protected over generations. If you really want to understand Donald Trump, you've got to go back one more generation to his grandfather, Frederick Trump. Donald Trump's grandfather, Frederick Trump, immigrated to the United States from Germany in the late 1800s. And unlike the people Trump loves to demonize today, he was welcomed here. He was white, European, and given opportunity, not suspicion. He didn't have people labeling him as rapists and murderers. He didn't his grandfather didn't strike gold through hard work and honesty. He made his money running hotels and restaurants during the gold rush, many of them tied to prostitution, gambling, and exploiting desperate workers. Desperate workers, people that we would consider today down on their luck. When he got into trouble in Germany and faced deportation, he ran back to America. And when that didn't work, he came right back again. You know, the borders were flexible back then, and they worked in Frederick Trump's favor. Okay? The money that his family had was built on exploitation, and it became the foundation for the Trump's family's wealth. So when people act like Trump's behavior came out of nowhere, understand this. This is generational.
A number of Republicans are calling on you to apologize for that post. Is that something you're going to do?
No, I didn't make a mistake. I mean, I look at a lot of thousands of things, and I looked at the beginning of it. It was fine.
Do you condemn the racist parts of the video?
Of course I do. I liked the beginning. I saw it and just passed it on. And I guess probably nobody reviewed the end of it because what I saw at the beginning was really, really strong. It was about fraudulent elections. And anytime I see that stuff and when it's credible, you put it up. But somebody slipped and missed a very small part. Now, by the way, again, the takeoff one, I guess, I didn't do it, by the way. This was done by somebody else. This was a retruth that was not done by us.
You frequently criticize Joe Biden for not knowing what is going on in his name. This racist video that was posted on your social media.
A hell of a lot better than you do. You don't know what's going on. I know what's going on.
The lies, the entitlement, the exploitation, the belief that rules are for other people and that the rules do not apply to the Trump family, that didn't start with Donald Trump. It started with his grandfather. This is who the president of the United States is. This is y'all president. Please stop lying about it. Just stop it. I'm Tylane, and this is Tylane Ducksworth Reviews. If this commentary resonated with you guys, I'm talking about in the least bit, take a moment to reflect, share your thoughts, like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, y'all take care, and I'm out.